Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video on Hearthstone. We've got a bit of a problem here, and as you can tell by the HS replay page, it's a little bit Hunter. It looks like Hunter might be a little bit too good if you know, well, I mean, look at that. Before we get into the details of like, why the hell is Hunter so out of control? What can be done about it? I do want to remind you guys, we are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, every 1,000 subs. Until then, we're doing a big giveaway and we're nearing 59K. So if you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button and, you know, help me go broke. Do some more giveaways and all of that. Anyways, taking a look at the stats here, our Hunter problem. Hunter at a 58% win rate across all ranks, dwarfing every other class in comparison by almost 10%. This is like day one Demon Hunter in terms of like a disparity across all ranks. I don't think the meta in any way is that bad. I also think there's plenty of competitive stuff to play, but Hunter is definitely the class to play right now. And as an aside, for you wild players out there, myself included, the wild meta is not even nearly as unbalanced, with every class at least being within 10%, with oh boy, Secret Mage seems to be really popular again and has boosted Mage to being the top class again. I wonder if we should do a video talking about Secret Mage returning to Hearthstone. I know a lot of people hate it and a lot of people love it, but regardless, at least Wild doesn't seem to have quite the disparity that Standard does, and even Hunter there is just a mere third. But overall, what is going on? What has made Hunter just so ridiculously good? And again, what could be done about it? Well, before the mini set, even before the mini set launched, Hunter was basically in this position already. Superior David tweeted this out a few days beforehand, going through HS replay stats and showing the Beast Hunter's win rate spread of its matchups and all of that. And basically it only lost to Blessed Priest by quite a lot, 35%. And basically though, what Blessed Priest does is it spams Radiant Elemental, bunch of cheap spells, and then buffs the crap out of something. You have like two 20/20s that a Hunter just cannot deal with, and you win. You win. It's a consistent strat. It loses like a board clear, any removal, but Hunter doesn't have that, so it beats that. But if you take a look at every other deck, the only thing that was like competitive with it was Spooky Mage at like 49%, as well as Imp Warlock around 51%, and Naga Priest, for a similar reason as Blessed Priest, 50%. But very few decks even came remotely close to being able to compete with it. And it's kind of turned into this meta now, where if you take a look at all the decks through Diamond through Legend, since the Maw and Disorder mini set, you see Beast Hunter well clear of everything else at a near 60% win rate average. Pretty ridiculous, with the other decks kind of being a little bit further behind. Imp Warlock, Curse Imp Warlock, Aggro Druid, and another new Hunter archetype of Rats and Bats Hunter. Where did this archetype come from? Well, it's because of the mini set card Shadehound, which is the new beast, 5-mana 6/5 whenever it attacks. Give your other beast +2/+2. This is even going into Beast Hunter. It's going into almost pretty much everything because it's a really good card. It's one of the best cards actually of the entire mini set. So when you give one of the best cards of the mini set to the already best class in the game, and a lot of classes honestly just didn't get a lot of strong stuff, it's just really kind of escalating the problem we saw before. It is good to see though, if you take a look at tier 2, there are a lot of different decks that are winning. They are winning on average, and that's good to see, whether it's a Spooky Mage, Control Shaman, Naga Priest, and Rage Warrior is competitive. So even though Warrior's at the very bottom across all ranks, Warrior's actually got some stuff to do. There is a playable deck. Fell Demon Hunter, Dude Paladin finally is seeing play. It's actually seeing play. I think the last time we took a look at Silverhand Paladin, it was like 30-something%. It's up to 50% across all ranks because Paladin got some good stuff. Evolved Shaman, Ping Mage, sadly Quest Hunter, Relic Demon Hunter, but you see there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of stuff right below. So this is why, like, we do have this Hunter problem, but I don't think it's as bad as it looks, if it makes any sense, because there's a lot of stuff that can work. And if Beast Hunter's just toned down a little bit, it doesn't have to be a lot, because one of the things I will mention about Beast Hunter, if you look at what Beast Hunter does, it's overall not a very unhealthy deck. It's a board-based deck for the most part. It doesn't even run much reach. Some lists don't even run Stag Charge, one of the only burn spells in the deck. Of course, you have some reach with like cards like King Crush and Sardonathries, but overall, it's like one of the least offensive, dominant decks I've seen in a long time. You do have to deal with the inevitability of Rexar's hero power or just infinite Huffers from Tavish. It's not a deck I dread facing or anything like that. If you do take a look at Hunter's matchup spread since the mini set, it's actually probably worse than before. Blessed Priest, even as the counter to Hunter, is starting to dip even in that regard. That's down to about 45%. Naga Priest is definitely losing to the deck. Spooky Mage is barely at a 50%, and Imp Warlock is just over 50%. It's a lot of green for Big Beast Hunter. It still definitely is too good, but it's not a deck where I would outright want it gutted. I wouldn't want it destroyed. And well, what are the cards that are driving it to do what it's doing? Interestingly enough, when you take a look at the mulligan win rate, the top card isn't like Harpoon Gun, which I see a lot of complaints about, myself included. It's like the 10th best card in your mulligan. Surprisingly, it's not even Wild Spirits, another card I thought it would be, but you have cards like Spirit Poacher. Just having that 2-drop on 2 is really good. Peasant, the 3rd best card, because having a 1-drop on 1 is really good because you have your buffs like Ramming Mount up there as well, which isn't even kept that much, is a near 63% mulligan win rate. Ironically, one of the broken parts about this deck is just it really works well together with everything. It's kind of like the ideal Hearthstone deck you want. There's no huge outlier. There's just a lot of really well-performing cards. So what do you do with a deck that doesn't have a clear outlier, doesn't seem super unhealthy in its nature, but its win rate is just at a point where it's out of control of 58%, and it's just far above and beyond everything else? And does that mean you just buff other stuff and go that route, which just has not been working very well? Or in my opinion, you just nudge things back a little bit. I think if they are going to adjust Hunter, there are the cards that I kind of mentioned. I do think kind of the cards that can outright steal games. Harpoon Gun got buffed when Hunter wasn't doing very well. It actually didn't used to dredge and reduce cost by 3. It was by 2 originally, and I wonder if it's time to go back to that. The other obvious consideration is Wild Spirits. This card is just absurd. 3 mana, you're getting probably like 5 or 6 mana worth of value, and if you have any other Wild Sea cards going on the board, that accelerates. Putting this to 4 mana probably makes it still playable, but again, is probably one of those things that help dial the deck down a little bit. But honestly, outside of this, my biggest problem isn't even Hunter. My biggest problem is still this stupid card Theotar. It is still driving me nuts. It is one of the most anti-fun cards out there. And well, I think we might have a follow-up video because there's just been, again, so much discussion around this card that I think it's time to have a follow-up video talking about Theotar. So get ready for that. But overall, I would love to hear your guys' take. Is Beast Hunter way too good? Does it need to be murdered? Does it need to be just slightly dialed back? Or would you just leave it alone and see how things further develop? I don't know. Personally, I would probably just nerf Wild Spirits to 4, leave it at that, or revert the weapon. At the end of the day, at least we have an oppressive deck that, at least personally, I don't loathe. Feel terrible once I face it, well, like all the time on ladder. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.